Safety data sheets are the primary source of information concerning the hazardousness of chemical products, whether substances or mixtures, along the supply chain. Usually, once received within a company, SDSs are stored in a variety of ways. But considering the volume of the documents and data that need to be examined, managing all SDSs presents quite a few challenges, such as easily finding the specific document you want to read, rapidly obtaining useful information scattered among the various sections of an SDS, and distributing such information in a correct and up-to-date manner to all relevant personnel. All too frequently, these documents are duplicated within an organization, resulting in different copies for corporate sites, departments, safety managers, and consultants who support the company in chemical risk management and assessment operations. And such proliferation makes it far more complicated to align and update archives, which has to be done every time a supplier sends in a new SDS or a revision. Consequently, you end up with double or obsolete SDSs, or even different versions of the same SDS in the various corporate sites, giving rise to confusion and possibly causing mistakes. Hence, the need to adopt solutions providing effective support with a centralized and unified management system for received documents, as well as the ability to digitally process the data they contain. Share SDS Drive is an ideal solution for these key needs, but it also responds to further, more specific requirements, as we will see later on. No matter how and where they were received, SDSs can be uploaded to a dedicated archive which facilitates the indexing of all information deemed useful for searching and browsing. Share SDS Drive can be configured to meet the needs of both simple organizations, where all the activity is carried out by a single person, and more complex organizations, in which the data are uploaded, supervised, and used by more than one person. Moreover, it is possible to create specific processes for products still in the test stage, or for SDSs realized by research and development departments. Once included in Share SDS Drive, the SDSs can be displayed as a matrix showing all the information you decided to upload in order to index the documents. For example, product name, producer, language, revision date, hazard statements, precautionary statements, pictograms, identification codes of the substance or mixture, and so on. Some of this information is based on tables, like, for example, precautionary statements, hazard statements, with descriptions available in the various European languages, and pictograms. All archived documents are searchable by any index that has been uploaded. For instance, by simply typing part of the name of a substance or mixture, all relevant safety data sheets are displayed. You can search by the name of the producer, and, in this case, after typing part of a name, you can simply select the appropriate company to display the list of all relevant SDSs, or by any other index. For example, a hazard statement, which can be selected from the H phrases table where the codes are translated in your selected language. And in this case, all SDSs containing, among others, the H phrase selected will be displayed. But it is also possible to search by the name of a component featured in Section 3 of an SDS, so as to immediately obtain a list of the products containing it. Here, for instance, we type cumene, and as we can see by opening the list of components of one of the SDSs, this substance is among those featured in Section 3. Or we can even use any substance identification code. In this example, we type the CAS registry number for 2-butoxyethanol, and we obtain a list of all SDSs of the mixtures which have it as a component. Selected documents can be displayed one by one by clicking on the document icon in order to open it and access the whole contents of the SDS. Extract it in a zip file containing all the documents that have been selected. This zip file can then be saved on your systems by a simple click on a link. And their list can be extracted in various formats, for example as a worksheet, enabling any kind of analysis on the data stored. SDSs can be uploaded directly in the panel which is available to the whole organization, or by putting them through a separate approval cycle. For instance, the SDSs may be entered by someone authorized to manually upload them into a specific workspace, where they stay until other authorized users verify them, classify them, and adopt them. At the end of the approval cycle, the SDSs become public and can be accessed by any authorized user. When a revision of an already existing SDS is received, the system recognizes the presence of its older version and moves this to an obsolete SDS panel, with the twofold aim to always maintain an up-to-date archive and to keep a history of all documents received during the last 10 years or more, according to the national requirements. In Share SDS Drive, you can also have a dedicated workspace to display some constantly updated public substance lists, such as the ECHA lists, which indicate candidate SVHC substances for authorization. Substances already authorized or subject to restrictions. Harmonized substances and registered substances, as well as other public lists, such as the California Proposition 65. But it is also possible to create private lists of specific substances that the company wants to replace or to keep an eye on. All these lists are integrated in Share SDS Drive panels, so that even with this type of information, the user can perform quick searches and, when needed, display the original attachments for further reading. This is done through links that lead the user directly to the websites made available by the relevant bodies. Back to the management of the received SDSs now. For mixtures, it is possible to upload even the whole breakdown of their components, as featured in Section 3. This way, reference and searches are possible for these elements too, so as immediately to find an answer to questions such as, how many of my purchased mixtures contain a given substance? And which ones? In what quantities? What is its classification? Another interesting feature allows you to combine these substances data with the public and private lists that we saw earlier. In this case, Share SDS Drive will be able to inform you about which products are involved in a particular list. For example, those having at least one candidate list substance as a component, and exactly which substances are involved. Then, with a simple click, you can display such listed element, including attachments as well as further detailed information. Let's see an example. Let's search among these 319 SDSs for those containing boric acid. We find only one, and we can display its details and see that boric acid is one of 6 substances listed in Section 3 of this product's SDS. Immediately, we notice that this substance is on the candidate list, but not yet among those subject to authorization. By clicking on the red dot, we can instantly see the element of the candidate list table, the date, and reason for its inclusion, and a link to relevant documents for further reading. Or do we want to know how many of our 319 SDSs contain candidate list substances? A simple click on the top of this column is sufficient to find out that there are 20 of them. Another click to know on account of which substance, and one more click to know why. And again, how many SDSs contain substances listed on the California Proposition 65? Exactly 71. And many of these do not contain substances appearing on any ECHA list, like, for example, cumene or ethylbenzene. In this case, too, a simple click is all you need to access the relevant documents. A consistent use of these services allows your business to be constantly up to date, having an effective impact on chemical risk prevention, as well as avoiding those work peaks that usually occur when the risk assessment document needs to be updated.